Hello everyone, welcome to EduTerrain. A warm good afternoon to you all. So as we have already decided that कौन से दिन पे क्या करना है, so today we are going to see the some MCQs of static agriculture and rural development. Now कहाँ पे ये use होगा? See these questions that we are doing, these would be helpful for your IBPS SO AFO examination as well as NABARD grade A or B examination. Okay, so with this introduction let me start today's session. And एक और important interesting thing is whatever questions that I have brought to you today, these have been asked somewhere either in the IBPS SO AFO examination or the NABARD grade A or B examination. सारे phase 1 के questions हैं, NABARD के है तो, और IBPS SO AFO का तो phase 2 का ही होगा. So with this also you can understand the kind of questions that can be asked in the examination from ARD part. Okay. So these are my credentials, you can go through it later as well. I have close to 6+ years of experience in teaching regulatory bodies examination students. So the first question from the planting systems, ये आएगा आपको horticulture में भी आएगा. Okay, what are the planting system? That is plant geometry. Okay, and the same plant geometry will also witness in the seeds and sowing part. How you have to, in what pattern the seeds can be sown. Now here when we talk about where the plants are placed in right angle equidistant from each other, here the key word in this part is equidistant from each other, right angled. So what is the planting system that we are looking at here? Yes, try कीजिए, गलत भी हुआ तो कोई problem नहीं, I am here to guide you. Okay, here in this case it is the square system. Rectangle में क्या है, इस तरह से होता है, it's not equidistant from each other, right angle to each other, right angle to each other. Okay, it is a square one, and here in this case it is the rectangular one, though right angle to each other but they are not equidistant to each other, so it would be rectangular. ये हो गया, ये square हो गया. This is the answer for this. Triangular में क्या है आपका, इस तरह से यहाँ एक प्लांट, यहाँ एक प्लांट है, ऑल्टरनेटिवली एक्चुअली ऑल्टरनेटिवली इस अगर लाइन में है तो 1 2 3 है तो यहाँ पे ऑल्टरनेटिवली दे विल फॉर्म अ ट्रायंगुलर पैटर्न. एंड क्विनकंक्स क्या है, इट इज सेम एज स्क्वेयर ओनली बट देयर वुड बी अ फिलर ट्री इन द सेंटर. दिस विल हेल्प इन इंक्रीजिंग द productivity of that crop and also the number of plants also would be increased. But generally these filler trees are temporary in nature because once the canopy of these main trees would cover this, there won't be chance for any plant to survive here. So in the initial stages of the horticulture crop जहाँ पे बहुत time लगता है 3 to 4 years for complete canopy coverage, generally farmers they go for filler crops here, and by the time they grow and in 2 years or 3 years they will have at least 1 or 2 harvests from these filler crops. Thereby the productivity of that field can be enhanced. Generally papaya या फिर short term जो short duration वाले horticulture crops होते हैं, they generally take them up in orchard. So here we are talking about square system, and this is all the square system as you can see here. Okay, moving on to our next question. Removal of male bud in banana after completion of the female phase is called as. See, generally banana में actually pollination की ज़रूरत नहीं है because those fruits are parthenocarpic fruits. Without the formation, without the fusion they will develop, without the seed formation etc. So but the thing is the whatever the photosynthase, that is the food material that is prepared by the photosynthesis, that जो भी carbon sink है, one of that carbon sink is these male buds. In order to reduce that wastage, they are removed so that the growth of the fruits can be enhanced, for which actually the male buds are removed in banana. Okay, so here this detasseling क्या है, tassels remove करने maize में होता है. Topping क्या है, removal of the apical bud along with some leaves. Just especially this is done in, topping is done in desi cotton and tobacco. Okay. So here the correct answer is denaveling. Tipping ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, nipping होता है actually. In nipping, chickpea में सिर्फ only the apical bud is removed. Majorly topping and nipping are done for the same objective to increase the lateral branches. And here we are talking about the denaveling. See here, these are the male flowers and these would be removed. See, maturing clusters of ovaries, already they are maturing, okay, but here clusters of the terminal bud composed of the bracts. Here in this case the male flowers would be there, they will be produced within the bracts near the apex of the floral stalk, generally apex ke paas rehte, that would be removed, and this would check the movement of photosynthesis into the unwanted sink. And here the unwanted sink is nothing but the male buds, and this will promote the fruit development in a much faster manner and much robust. Okay, moving on to our next question. Okay, let me tell you, this is from horticulture, or we can say important agriculture practices. Moving on to our next question. This is from the soils part, soils chapter. Type of erosion that occurs after sheet erosion where finger-like structures are formed. When we talk about erosion, there are degrees of erosion, how it all starts. So first it would be splash erosion. Splash erosion mein kya hai? Just a drop of waterfall, that is rainfall, etc. Because of that impact, the soil particle along with the water splashes, thereby loosening up of the soil happens. If this goes unchecked, what will happen? That will lead to sheet erosion. Sheet erosion क्या है? Simple, no, very thin layer of the topmost layer of the soil would be removed. This generally goes unnoticed. कई बार ऐसा होता है कि बहुत अच्छे से देखेंगे, very particularly if we see, we'll be able to notice that the removal of soil. So if that also goes unchecked, this leads to rill erosion. Okay, rill erosion में क्या है? Finger-like structures would be formed. Like sheet erosion will lead to rill erosion as a finger-like structures form. Generally, these are unbalanced channels, sort of very small, less than 30 centimeters. बहुत छोटे छोटे होते हैं. And if this also is neglected, then this will lead to gully erosion. And when gully erosion happens, what happens? Whatever the soil that is there, that all gets washed off into the nearest streams, right? And वो भर जाते हैं soil उसमें. उससे क्या होता है? When rains come and whatever the water that gushes into the streams, they swell up, and that will lead to stream bank erosion. That is, the banks get eroded. Okay, so here it is rill erosion that we are talking about, and see here it is splash erosion, sheet erosion that leads to rills. These are the rills, finger-like structures, and gullies, there would be big, more than 30 centimeters channels that are formed. Okay, moving on to our next question. The technique which reduces soil erosion, evaporation, kinetic energy impact of raindrops. Just now we have seen that the splash erosion, it is because of the impact of the raindrops. That also can be reduced. How can that be reduced? By putting some sort of barriers there. And here we are saying it is one such technique that reduces the soil erosion because of reduction of the impact, that is the splash erosion. एक बार splash erosion को ही हमने खत्म कर दिया है, तो next sheet erosion and all that, वो तो उनका question तो आता ही नहीं है, right? And plus evaporation as well. What is the technique called? Vegetative barriers. Generally vegetative barriers are created when there is a slope, and to avoid runoff of water, okay, along with that we have to conserve the water. That is, for the conservation of soil plus water, vegetative barriers are done. That is, in between if these are the plants, they will have some vegetative barriers where the roots go deeper, like vetiver grass, etc., and very thick, very closely they will be planted so that they will act as a barrier. Okay. Basin listing is something, this is done especially in case of sticky soil, जहाँ पे बहुत sticky soils होता है, and it takes lot of time for the water to imbibe into the soil, right? For which they make small basins sort of with an instrument called as basin lister, and the plants would be sown here in this case, and the water whenever that is falls down, they get accumulated here, and the plants will utilize that water from here, from these basins. Generally black soils या sticky soils में ये generally use करते हैं. Contour bunding, here it is again done on the slopey areas where on the contour lines bunds are created, thereby the water would be if it is created like this, what will happen, the bunds structure, when the water flows down, this is, we are going top down, okay, this is from the top, when water flows, these bunds will hold that, okay, all that water, and that would be again utilized by the plants that are sown in this area. And also that soil and water conservation in simpler terms. Here we are talking about mulching. So what is mulching? If these are plants in between, these are the plants, whatever the area that is, and now this is the one that is exposed to the atmosphere. So here this is the one where when water falls in, the kinetic impact of water that leads to splash erosion, right? And also this is one that is exposed to sun, so evaporation also happens. So for that, mulching can be done. What is mulching? Putting some dry straw, husk, anything on the ground so that they can act as a barrier. And again, when we talk about these mulches, it can be three types of mulches. Live mulch, sometimes intercropping can also be done, so that act as live mulch. This is the main crop, and here some intercrop, some cowpea, anything, or udad, or groundnut, anything that has good ground covering foliage, they can be grown. So such kind of live mulches they are called as, that can be done. Or plastic mulches, plastic sheet can be extended. Generally plastic mulches, they are taken up when the crop value is of high stature. So in order to avoid any loss to the crop, that is done. Or we can have straw mulches, that is straw or husk can be spread out here, all the straw. Let me show you the photograph. See here, these are the plants, and here the straw etc. is spread out. So this will reduce the evaporation. It also arrests the weed growth. It also reduces the impact of the kinetic energy of the raindrops, reducing the impact, and thereby avoids the soil erosion. At the same time, this since the organic matter, the biomass, this slowly gets degraded naturally and converts into organic matter. That again would be helpful for the plant growth itself. Okay, yes, moving on to our next question. Regrowing an entire crop from stubbles is known as, see, when a crop is cut, see, this is a crop, for example, is a crop, and this is cut here, that is as part of harvesting. After harvesting, now from these are called as crop stubbles. From this again resprouting happens, and that can be taken up as next crop rather than going for a fresh sowing. Okay, such kind of regrowing of an entire crop from stubbles is known as, yes, anyone who wants to try? It's okay, no problem, I'll give you the answer. It is called as ratooning. It is also called as stubble cropping. It is also called as reharvesting. It is also called as second crop. So all of the above is the answer here. See here, they have cut the paddy. Actually, this is paddy. See, it has resprouted. Though in India, it is not common to go for ratoon crop for paddy. In India, we generally go for sugarcane ratoon cropping. Okay. But in some countries, in Kenya or some country, they have highlighted that they go for this ratoon cropping of paddy as well. Okay. So this is one. Moving on to our next question. This is from agronomy. Agronomy, or you can say cropping patterns and cropping systems. Yes, this one is from the again soils part, where water, soil and water conservation topic. I forgot to highlight here, let me tell you. Yes. Now, this is one of the finest carpet wool sheep breed in India, which is also called the Merino of Rajasthan. Why Merino of Rajasthan? Because Merino एक ऐसा sheep है that gives us with very high quality wool. Okay. Yes. And this breed is called as Merino of Rajasthan because this also gives the finest carpet wool. Yes. Can anyone tell me what is the scientific name of sheep? Because see, whenever you come across any flora, fauna, that is animal or plant, especially in ARD, you'll come across so many. Kindly see that you know the scientific name of that. एक mark का question पूछते हैं, especially in phase 1, and sometimes that 1 mark makes all the difference. क्या करना है हमें, डेली एक आधा साइंटिफिक नेम्स देख लेना है, वॉट एवर दैट यू कम अक्रॉस एज पार्ट वाइल स्टडिंग ARD, that much is enough. So here Ovis aries is the scientific name of sheep, and we have 2 sheep research institutes in India. One, Central Sheep and Wool Research Institute, which is in Avikanagar in Tonk. ये जयपुर से बहुत नज़दीक है, it is one of the district. वहाँ पे this is Central Sheep and Wool Research Institute is there, Avikanagar. And दूसरा है Sheep Research Institute, which is in Mannawar. It is in Tamil Nadu. Dindigul district है तमिलनाडु में, वहाँ पे मन्नावर करके एक प्लेस है, वहाँ पे शीप रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट is. These are the 2 institutes associated with sheep research in India. And here Chokla is the finest carpet wool sheep breed in India, which is also called as the Merino of Rajasthan. This is the one. We'll do this in animal husbandry. Animal husbandry, we'll do this topic. Moving on to our next question. This is from the beneficial insects. Actually ऐसा कोई टॉपिक नहीं है as per the syllabus of NABARD, but yes, many a times questions are asked from this topic, hence we cover this topic specifically. Yes, white muscardine disease occurs in which of the following beneficiary insects मैंने एक बता दिया है. So it won't be in poultry, it won't be in cattle, so it must be either in honeybees or silkworms. This white muscardine disease is in silkworms. It is a fungal disease caused by fungus Beauveria bassiana. Green muscardine करके भी है, that is Picaria prasinna, aspergillosis होता है उससे. And here in this case the larva loses appetite and becomes inactive. Presence of moist specks on the skin, एक point, because those are the mycelial growths वहाँ से होता है. The larva vomits and turns flaccid. After death, the larva gradually becomes hard, followed by mummification due to growth of aerial mycelia. When we talk about fungus, mycelium would grow, that is जैसे root-like structures होते हैं. And since they completely cover over the body, it turns completely chalky white, as you can see here, muscardine disease. And it gets mummified, hardened, very much hard it becomes. Okay. So these kind of questions are also asked in the exam, and this I have picked it from the NABARD grade A examination phase 1 exam. Year I don't remember because I've compiled all the questions at one place. Moving on to our next question. This is from the chapter Irrigation. Okay. Now, which among the following crops critical stages of irrigation is flowering, peg penetration and pod development? See, when we talk about the stages of growth in a plant, every crop has its unique critical stages of irrigation. Now, what is this critical stage? If there is by any chance we will not be able to provide irrigation or water during this growth phase of that crop, there is a high likely chance that it would impact the production, in a very negative manner. The production can fall down drastically. So, some stages, every crop has its own critical stages of crop growth. So during that time, irrigation is very much essential. Okay. So here, as I've said, every crop has its own stages. Here, this flowering, peg penetration and pod development are the critical stages of irrigation for groundnut, Arachis hypogea. The scientific name of groundnut is Arachis hypogea. See, flowering stage, pegging stage. Groundnut में एक और beauty है कि once the fertilization happens outside, fertilization होने के बाद flower close हो जाता है, then the peg formation happens. That is, slowly it will go positively geotrophic. It grows towards the ground and enters into the soil. After that, the pod and the seeds would be formed. Okay, this is the pod development stage. This is the pegging stage. See, all that they are going downwards. Okay. Moving on to our next question. Okay. One of these following grafting techniques which allows the union of root stock limb that is much larger in size than the scion piece. This is the rootstocks, it is much larger, and these are the scions which are very small in size. So for which this kind of, as you can see here too, generally this is done in dormant stages, and after that slowly they'll be able to grow. So what is the grafting techniques? Generally the scion and the rootstock, this is the scion and this is the rootstock. Always they should be of same size, but in this case they are of different sizes. And this grafting, this is again propagation techniques in horticulture crops, in that we'll study. There are various propagation techniques of horticulture crops like budding, layering, grafting, okay, stem cuttings, root cuttings. We'll study about all that here, and this is generally done in apples, pears, in cashew nut also this is done, and this it's called as cleft grafting. Okay, this is called as cleft grafting, and it is conducted in late winter when both the rootstock and the scion are in a dormant condition. Only then they'll be able to survive. Slowly they'll be growing. Now, which this is from the agronomy classification of field crops. बहुत important topic, at least one or two questions would be asked from this topic. Which among the following is a perennial crop based on ontology? Ontology means life cycle here, and perennial crop is something where it lives for more than 3 years and it keeps on giving the produce. Again after harvesting, again it will give, like that for more than 3 years it will survive, and maximum time to kuch bhi ho sakta hai. Okay, cotton, it's not a perennial crop. Pearl millet, no, it's a seasonal crop. And beetroot, it is a biennial crop. It's annual crop, biennial crop. Paddy also annual crop, that is in single season they complete their life cycle and die. Coconut is the one based on ontology or the life cycle. It is a perennial crop. It gives produce, or it lives up to more than 60 years. Okay, and good production is given till it reaches 60 years of age. Okay, so it is coconut that we are talking about, and it can be propagated only through seedlings, and this is a coconut plantation that you can see. So this again is from, as I said, agronomy part. Agronomy में जो classification of field crops है, उसमें you will come across the ontology. It is classification of field crops based on their life cycle or ontology. So this was all from my end for today's class. Now homework question answers to the homework questions that we have done yesterday. According to a report by NetApp, which countries are considered leaders in the world artificial intelligence race? Here in this case, India stands number 1. More than 60% of the companies that are venturing into artificial intelligence, they are working from India. Singapore, United Kingdom and the US are the rest of the countries. Now, which regulatory body is contemplating the establishment of a digital trust? India Trust Agency, that is Digital Trust Agency. Okay, to address the proliferation of illegal lending apps and tackle the rising cyber fraud. So here it is Reserve Bank of India that wants to do this. Majorly, what are the functions that they are trying to impart to this? Verification of the digital lending apps, maintaining a public register of verified apps, and this will help in combating financial crimes as well, because they already have the list and everything. Okay, and it seems that why RBI is trying to do that, there's a background story also for that. Since September 2022 to August 2023, Google has removed from its app store, because of various complaints that have been raised, 2,200 digital lending apps from its app store. So with this you can understand the kind of risks that are associated, the kind of complaints that are coming, the kind of work that they are doing. Digital lending apps are those, they give amount to the people, lend money to the people at high interest rates for a short term period. but the interest rates are so exorbitant that people think that बहुत easily मिल रहा है, but later because of the higher interest rates they are not able to pay, and we have even seen some of the suicide cases also because of the pressure that they put for that money retrieval. Okay, so for which RBI is planning that they should have a policy or a body, regulatory body, so as to, or some agency sort of, that will be looking into these kind of issues. Okay, yes, now the homework questions for today. The Indian Army has received the first batch of 24 IGLA-S man-portable air defense system and 100 missiles from which country as part of a larger deal that includes domestic production in India as well, to enhance the Army's very short-range air defense capabilities, especially in high mountainous terrain along the northern border. Okay, especially जो हमारा पाकिस्तान और चाइना उनसे है वहाँ पे, to protect ourselves, very short-range air defense capabilities enhance करने के लिए we are doing this. Now you have to tell me from which country we have received the first batch of these man-portable air defense systems. ये छोटे-छोटे होते हैं, and even the army people, they can carry these with them. This is the first question. Second question is, very recently notification for specifications of new product nano urea liquid 16, that is nano urea plus fertilizer, which is to be manufactured by the IFCO, that is Indian Farmers Fertilizer Cooperative Limited in India, has been notified. Now you have to tell me which ministry has notified the specifications for the production of this nano urea liquid plus the percentage of nitrogen in this is much higher than the regular nano urea liquid. That's why plus. Yes, so this is all from my end. So these are the homework questions that you can answer in the comment section, and also we'll discuss in the class tomorrow, that is coming Monday. Thank you very much. Now the forum is open for your queries, questions, any doubts. Okay, I'll wait for a couple of seconds for this. Okay, no problem. If you have any queries, you can always reach out to the Telegram channel or the group. Yes, so with this I'm winding up today's session. Have a great day ahead, have a great weekend ahead. See you all then on Monday with yet our next set of classes. Thank you very much once again for being so patient, and take care. Bye bye.